Hey, today let's take a look at an accessory for AR-15 rifle, the Stark grip from Stark Industries Iron Man. I don't know, but it's got an integral trigger guard there, and it has more of a 1911-ish straighter angle on it than the standard one. Which you can see here. Here's my lower I'm going to put it on. This is a DPMS lower that I assembled. And you can see the angle of the grip there. This is a, what is this guy? This is a First Samco G27, which is probably my favorite grip. I've got this on a couple other rifles. Let's take a closer look at that Stark and what it's going to take to get it on here. Okay, here's the Stark. There's what it's called, made in the good old US of A. Stark Equipment Corporation. Okay, let's get it out of the package here. It's got a rubbery texture to it. It's got a plug on the bottom that actually fits on there really tight, unlike a lot of these grips that I've encountered where the bottom disappears after a day in the field because they just don't fit tight. This one hopefully will stay on there. It's shaped for some batteries, for an optic or whatever you're using. Here's the hardware that we've got with it, which is just a little screw and the grip screw and lock washer itself. There's a look at the grip. It has the little screws going to go right here. Okay, it's a single-sided screw on the front. The plastic has that brittle sound to it, so I don't know if you dropped your rifle out of a truck if it would snap off or not, but it's also got a hefty area in here where the beaver tail like a pistol would be. So that's going to give that straighter grip to it on the rifle. Here's a closer look at that G27. And this is a nice grip too. But we're going to have to remove this roll pin here. And that single-sided screw on the Stark grip is going to install on this side, which is for the detent on the movable trigger guard here. So to install this bad boy, you're going to need a 3/16 hex wrench, Allen wrench, and ironically a 3/16 inch screwdriver, which fits that little screw perfectly. But first we got to get that roll pin out. And for that, you're going to need a roll pin punch. I bought a little roll pin punch set from Burnell's when I assembled this guy. If you work on AR-15s, they have a number of roll pins, so it just pays to, you know, pick up a little roll pin kit. Now to get the standard grip off, you're going to need a large screwdriver to reach up in there. I'm sure you've looked up inside your grip. You can see the screw in there. So we're going to have to pull that screw out to get the grip to come off. Keep in mind when you pull your grip off that there's a spring that sits vertically in there, in this area here. I'll show you on the Stark one since I've got it off. You can see the hole here. That spring's going to fit down in that hole, so you want to make sure that you pull this down straight. You don't pull it, you know, back or try and twist that spring off and make sure you don't lose it. I use a little block of wood to support the bottom wing here. You don't want to snap one of those little wings off, which you can do with these if you're not careful. Usually when you're installing, if the pin's not lined up and you really pound on it, you can break off one of the wings of the receiver there, so be careful with that. So I'm going to block it up. This is just a little piece of plywood that I use when I'm doing gunsmithing stuff, and that's going to support it. So anyway, we take our roll pin punch, and theoretically this is going to come off real easy. Make sure you don't drive it into your kitchen table. Your wife would love that. but this one's coming out really easy. There we go. So there's what that roll pin looks like. It's just a roll pin, nothing fancy. And then on this side of the trigger guard, there's a little springy for folding it open for winter gloves, which of course I'll probably never use, so I'm not worried about losing that feature. And then that just pops off there. So there's your standard trigger guard. So now we got to get after that screw in the bottom with a big screwdriver and see if we can unscrew that. And it shouldn't be too difficult, I don't think. No, I think putting them in is always harder than getting them out. That's always the fun part, getting it to line up. And the friend that gave me this grip said that's tricky on the Stark one because of the different angle. Okay, remember you've got that spring pressure, so pull it straight up. Whoopsie, there goes my spring. See, there's a detent right here for the selector, for the safety, right here. And then that's what this little spring fits on, and that's easy to lose. So be careful you don't lose that. Now the Stark grip, the ears look like they're going to go in here, and then of course we've got that one-sided screw that's going to go up here, so we'll see how tough this is to get on. Make sure I get my spring in the grip. See if I can do this on camera. It might be a little tricky. Let's see here. Yeah, or maybe not. Okay. Fits on there pretty easy. It is under a little spring tension from the safety selector switch. So I'm almost wondering how that front screw is going to line up. If I should put that in first maybe to hold it, or help hold it. Maybe I'll try that. Should have got my hardware out of the bag first, I guess. Would have made it a lot quicker on camera. Okay. That screw will start for me. I'm probably blocking the camera. There we go. Yeah, that went in easy. Okay, maybe that'll make lining up this new hex bolt inside there a little bit easier. Tricky, tricky, tricky. It helps if you have a long Allen. I'd actually like to have a longer one than this, but this is the longest one I could dig out in my toolbox. So we shall see here. Well, it's going in the hole. I can feel it. It's a tight fit on that hole. Just getting through the grip. Make sure you don't strip out your lower receiver. Okay, I can feel it hitting it now. I don't want to cross those threads up. There we go. I can feel it. I think going in now. Yep. Piece of cake. That installed really easy. Tighten it up there a little bit. Well, that does give a very different feel to it. I'll take another look at that. I want to put another little turn on the screw up here because I didn't tighten it too tight. Actually, I think I'll get some Loctite for that. There we go. Okay, there's another look at it. You can see that it is a lot straighter than the standard angle that's usually on an AR-15. It looks like it fits really well, at least on this DPMS lower. It does have a unique feel to it. My selector switch still works, so the spring's in there correctly. I didn't lose the detent that's inside there. I should have told you about that. There's a little detent pin also in the frame. You don't want to lose that with that spring, so be careful there. I'm going to put the upper on there and see. Okay, just a closer look at it installed. There's the Stark Industries grip. You can see it's a lot thicker in this dimension. Here's the Pro Mag version of the one that I just took off, and you can see it's narrower in this dimension. So if you have a large hand, the Stark is pretty nice. And you can see this angle is more extreme on the standard one. So there you go. Give you an idea of what they look like in comparison. Okay, there it is there. There's what she looks like on an upper. It does feel different, but not in a bad way, so I'll have to try it and compare it to other AR-15s with that grip and see if that's the way to go. But if you have a large hand, it's a good filling grip. So anyway, there's how to install the Stark Industries grip, and that pretty much goes with any other grip except for, of course, for the trigger guard, which you wouldn't have to remove if you were just changing to any other aftermarket grip. So if you haven't seen this done, that's pretty much how it is on all of them. Anyway, real simple install, went in good. Things to remember: don't strip out your the grip screw hole when you're putting it in. Make sure you feel it catch. Don't just start cranking on it, because this is only aluminum, remember that. And if you're putting a trigger guard in, make sure to protect those ears so you don't snap one of them off when you're putting that pin in. Anyway, thanks for watching.